Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and today there are great news for those of you who are into corporate aviation. iniBuilds have just released the largest private jet in flight simulation history yet, the A340 ACJ. Now, the corporate version of the Airbus A340 is not just being used by private companies, but also by some governments. For example, the Federal Republic of Germany used this aircraft type until just a few years ago to fly their top-tier politicians. Now, if you're into that type of aviation, by the way, I can very much also recommend the Aerosoft sceneries for Berlin and Cologne, both of which have their governmental terminals simulated to a fairly good extent, like the one we are seeing in Berlin over here. In today's video, let's have a look into what iniBuilds is offering here as a free update for owners of their A340, which, by the way, can now be transferred to the iniBuilds manager and also bought directly from iniBuilds if you're not into the entire marketplace thing. Now today, let's go ahead and have a look and start by heading up those stairs and check out the cabin that these aircraft offer. The configuration offered by iniBuilds is actually one that I would kinda take as a head of state configuration, because you got that one lovely bedroom in the aircraft, but we'll get to that in a few moments. In terms of liveries, the update comes with 6 liveries in the ini manager. 5 of them are private liveries and 1 is by the government of Iran. The one from Germany that you see over here is actually from used by Ryzen on FlightSim.to, so very much recommended to check them out. The livery looks fantastic, and with that, let's go ahead and have a look into what this airplane can offer you. Now, we start up in the galley, or well, in the one left entry. We got a very small galley over here, and then we also have the crew rest area. Now, just for orientation, here's our flight deck. The flight deck itself is pretty much unchanged to the standard Airbus A340, but the cabin is where everything gets different. So just going back a little bit, we got our standard toilet for the flight crew over here, and we also have the crew rest area. And I gotta say, this is probably the nicest crew rest area I've seen so far from a pilot's perspective. This is what it looks like. You got 2 chairs in which you can relax over here, and then you got this absolutely lovely bed. And yeah, that is a thing on aircraft. We even have similar ones on the A330s. Alright, now from here, let's go ahead and go back, and that is where the real luxury starts. So we are greeted by this, first of all, superb lighting over here, and then we are just moving back and we're getting to the real private areas of the aircraft. So let's open those doors, and we are going to start over here in the private working area. So this is very much where a head of state or the head of a very large company might be doing their work. You also got a couple of nice details in here, but overall, yep, I could definitely get used to working here. Now, from there, let's go ahead and head a little bit further forward again by this one door, which actually is the private bedroom. And yep, that's the type of bed that I would like to have at home, and they just got it in an airplane. Definitely not gonna say no to that. Also, I really gotta say, this is a nice view when you're trying to fall asleep, isn't it? Overall, beautifully modeled bedroom over here, and of course, for someone as important as those people who are going to sleep over here, there's also a private bathroom fitted into the aircraft, and from there we can just move to the side and also find a private shower fitted to the aircraft. Yep, that's the type of operation that I would like to do. I just don't want to pay for them, because this is probably going to cost me like my yearly salary in less than a single flight. Now, let's move further back from the private quarter of the head of state or whoever important person you have in the front over here, and let's move a little bit further to the back to some of the joint working areas. Now, we're reaching the door 2 left over here, just to give you some orientation. Yep, this is a big aircraft. And starting over here, we have a galley and we have a couple of jump seats for the flight attendants. We also have a control panel, and most importantly, we actually have some nice diagrams showing us where everything is, which I can very much recommend cabin crew getting lost in at first. So this is what our galley looks like, where we can cook all kind of meals. And then let's go a little bit further back to some of the joint working areas. We got a large conference room coming up next over here, where you can keep working while you are traveling. And boy, did you notice those lights on the ceiling over here? That starlight configuration? Man, this just looks fantastic, doesn't it? Alright, so from this large combined conference room, let's head a little bit further back and just go into this bathroom that we got on the side over here. Again, bathroom with a shower. It could be worse. There are absolutely worse ways to live your life than this. Alright, from here let's now move further back and we get into another conference room where we got this very large conference table on the side, as well as a couple of well, business class style seats on the side over here. Let's actually call it first class style seats on the side over here. Now, from here we got two doors leading to the back. However, both are leading into the same room. So everything you've seen until now is kind of where the important stuff is taking place in an airplane like this. And just look to the front and look at how huge that cabin is. Now, from here we are going backwards to where the not that important people are flying along. So over here you could take all kinds of stuff that you may need, for example, lower government employees and that kind of stuff. But you still have some absolutely lovely business class or first class seats in here. Now from there we are moving backwards into the areas where the less important persons would be traveling along. And this is kind of where you would take, well, lower employees of the company or maybe journalists along. You do still have a conference table for journalists working in the back over here though. And well, with that we are reaching the back of the cabin. Now in here once again you do have a couple of toilets for the lower class traveling along in your aircraft, and then you have another galley back here where your flight attendants can create meals for any of the entourage that you are taking along on flights like this. Overall, a fantastic rendition of the Airbus A340 ACJ. Pretty much an head of state configuration if you ask me, even though that is not official from iniBuilds, but we can very much see how you would have the president sleeping in the very front, then you got a couple of conference rooms for working, and then you got all the areas where you would carry the press and whatever types of people would accompany you on a journey like this. Overall, absolutely beautifully done. Also note that you can operate all those curtains everywhere here, and well, overall, beautifully done. Couple of toilets for the lower class as well. Then we're getting into the conference room, back on the way to the front again. We are just overhead the wing, by the way. That's just so cool. This airplane is so incredibly large, but definitely one that I could get used to flying in. Overall, beautifully done cabin. It just really looks fantastic, doesn't it? So really beautifully done. Let's move all the way back to the front though, as this is where the real action would happen. Just to give you an idea of the huge size of this aircraft. The ACJ update comes for free for owners of the iniBuilds Airbus A340. If you do not own it just yet, you can buy it not just on Marketplace, but actually right on the iniBuilds website now. So do check it out. I do think it's very much worth it. A fantastic add-on, now extended to a completely new type of operation. So if you're into the governmental type of operations, then I can very much recommend to check out the Republic of Germany livery by Hughes that you can find on flightsim.to. Note that you can also enhance it using their Z-Core functionality, getting things like custom food on the tables in the flight deck and stuff like that. So very much recommendable, very nice way of operation that you can do in here. And now, seeing that A350 in the back there, which is what the German government flies nowadays, I kind of gotta say that I'm hoping they might do the same thing for the A350. But let's not get on top of ourselves here. The A340 is a fantastic aircraft in this configuration. It can basically fly anywhere in the world with the range at the comparably light weights that it would have for takeoff and landing, since you're not going to carry 350 people around. Overall, beautiful aircraft, very much recommended to check it out. And well, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I do hope that you enjoyed it. Leave your opinion in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.